Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to practice. It is restorative and inversion week, so it's definitely going to be a lot more chilled out this evening than we might usually be in class. And we really are going to spend the bulk of the class in restorative postures. So often we do kind of half-half, but tonight we're just going to really chill out, work with the nervous system, and really kind of have the intention to give ourselves an experience of ourselves that is free of all of the thoughts that may be constantly running through our mind and our awareness. So the way that I would like to invite you to start off this evening is in the Supta Baddha Konasana. So grab a blanket or a roll up blanket. So if you have a big blanket that you can roll up, that would work great. Otherwise, some pillows stacked on top of one another. If you have a strap, grab it. Sometimes for a strap, a makeshift strap like a tie or a towel would work. That wouldn't work in this case, but you don't need it. So if you don't have one, that doesn't matter. If you do have a strap, bring it around the back, the lower back, over the thighs, under the feet, and then you'll simply do it up tight. Thread it through both of the buckles so that it will hold. I'm not going to worry about that, so I'm just demonstrating. And then we'll lay back over your bolster. If you have an actual bolster and you have an extra blanket or towel that you could use to place as a pillow, then place that there and relax back. So we're letting everything settle down, letting the skin of the face melt and surrender to gravity, letting the skin of the chest and the lateral seams soften, everything softening. And as you lay back, I'll invite you to continue to breathe. I'm going to sit up, so if you happen to glance at the screen and you see that I'm sitting up, don't worry, you haven't missed the cue to come out of the posture. I'm just not going to stay in it with you. So take some slow, deep breaths. Invite the breath to come down into the belly to expand and contract. No force, just allowing things to take place however they occur when you let go of control and settle into your body. I read a post earlier today or yesterday on Instagram saying something to the effect of keep hanging out with yourself until you feel like you again. And I thought that this was a beautiful little phrase, so relevant to the teachings of yoga and so perfect for going into our restorative practice. You know, we have this teaching in the yoga tradition that, you know, awareness has two functions. At certain times it is really involved with the fluctuations of the mind, you know, our thoughts and everything that is running through. And at other times we just get to abide in our own nature, this thoughtless space of awareness that we drop into for an experience of ourselves as we are, independent of thought constructs, labels, judgments. And the way that we get there is by giving the mind something to focus on. So in this case, the breath. Watch the inhalation move in, feel it completely. And then watch the exhalation move out, feel it completely. And let this movement of your breath be an anchor point for the mind. Starting to train your mind's capacity to hone in on a single point of focus. The thing that stops us having an experience of ourselves is the fact that the mind tends to kind of rush after every little shiny thing. So train your mind for stability, for concentration, a single point of focus. So when that space arises, you can start to rest into it. Just 3 more breaths here. And then gently from there, roll over to one side and press yourself up. Sit up nice and tall and bring your palms together at the heart center. Lift up shoulders back. And we'll share one Om to begin. Deep breath in. Okay. All right, let's move everything off our mats now. Just start to warm up the spine and get ourselves moving a little bit. So we'll come onto all fours, press down through the hands. Inhale, roll your shoulders open. Exhale, press the floor away. Keep going. Inhale, roll the shoulders open. Exhale, round out through your spine. Press the floor away. As you continue to move, stay focused on the breath and the movement, occurring in unison and harmoniously moving together. Three more rounds here. Okay, on the next exhale, let's start to add downward facing dog. So tuck your toes and press up, downward dog. 3 more. Inhale, drop your knees, roll your shoulders open. Exhale, tuck your toes, press back, down dog. Inhale, drop your knees, roll the shoulders open. Exhale, tuck your toes, press back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Good. From here, we're going to look forward and step the right foot all the way through. So you can help it through if you need to. Grab a hand, help it through. Lift the chest, bend deep into the knee, and pause for a moment here. So we'll take a few slow, deep breaths. We might continue to move with the breath just to open up a little bit through the lateral seams of the body. So as you inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky. Exhale, bring it down. Take the other side. Inhale, bring the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, bring it down. Movement and breath as one. Exhale, left arm. Right arm. One more each side. So sorry, right arm, inhale. Exhale. And last side, left arm. Good, bring it down, press back. Downward facing dog, take a breath here. Step your left foot through, so look where you want the foot to go. Pause for a moment. And then from here, inhale, sweep your left arm up. Exhale, down. Inhale, right arm. Exhale, down. Inhale, left. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Inhale, left. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Good. Now from here, step forward, little bend in the knees, and fold over your legs. Let your head hang, your neck hang. Shake out through the head and neck. So release any tension. You can make little circles with the neck. Shake it forward and back. Let the back of your neck get quite long. And then inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold in. As you inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. So we'll move through a half sun salutation to get us ready to come into our first full restorative posture. Inhale, sweep your arms high. Exhale, fold all the way. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Two more. Inhale. Breath and movement as one. Exhale, fold. Little bend in your knees. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. Then you're going to hold here now. You've got 2 minutes here, so I'm going to set my timer. So keep the knees a little bent. If you have blocks and things like that at home, you could have 2 blocks stacked on top of each other and rest the forehead on the block like we do when we're in class. If you don't, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure the knees are bent so that you feel really solid here, the legs are solid, and then let the arms hang, the neck hang. And simply breathe. So you get yourself in position, and then you observe the breath as it moves in and out of your body,
in this posture. And you're observing that without words, without thoughts, to the best of your ability. So let the mind rest on your breath. And if you feel like you need an extra anchor point, you can use a mantra like so, hum. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale, to further anchor the mind. Release the back of your neck, so you let the space at the nape of the neck relax and let tension just drip down to the floor. Good. All right, now from there, lift your chest. Bring your hands to your hips. Squeeze your elbows in. Press down, slowly come up. Keep the chin pointing down. And then we'll turn to face the long edge of our mat. Turn your toes in slightly. And we'll bring the hands to the hips. Inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees. Again, the tighter you are, the more you bend the knees, and we fold all the way forward. Release your head and neck. Hands can come down. Move forward and back on your feet slightly so that you feel the weight is evenly distributed between the front and the back of your feet, or the heels and the balls of your feet. You want to feel like you could hang here even if the arms were away from the floor. And you could stack the hands directly underneath the elbows or just wherever they will naturally kind of place themselves for you. Any lower back issues, bend the knees more. Continue observing your breath. If the mind wanders, bring it back to rest on this even flow of breath. Even inhale, even exhale. Okay, let's move the hands around and step back into downward facing dog. So press the floor away and see if you can hold in downward facing dog for a minute here. So you might need to bend the knees a little more, firm the arms, try and drag them towards one another, and then press the floor away and reach back through the hips. About 10 more seconds. You can come down into child's pose anytime you need to. And come down onto the floor and pause for a moment, toes together, knees wide. You can bring your arms out. You can even turn the palms up here and bring your forehead to the floor. You want to make sure that the forehead comfortably touches the floor. If it doesn't, put a block or a blanket or a towel underneath the forehead, or even just bring your hands in and rest your hands on, or rest your head on your hands. But if you can, it's nice to turn the palms up here so that the palms are pointing up towards the ceiling, and extend your arms as you rest the chest between your thighs. Simply 5 breaths here. Okay, now from here, gently press yourself up. We're coming over into bridge pose now. So if you have got a block or something that is pretty solid, that is about the height of a block, a couple of books would work really well, then grab yourself something to that effect. We're going to lay down on the floor. And we'll move in and out of bridge pose just a couple of times. So bring your hands down by your side. Make sure that you've got your block close by, your block-like object. Inhale, press down through the feet, reach your arms up and over behind your head. And as you exhale, bring the hands down, only lower the hips once the hands. Inhale, press the feet down, raise your arms. Exhale, bring your hands down and lower your hips. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more rounds. And again, the breath and the movement are as one here. You're using them both as a way to occupy your mind and really keep it single pointed so that you give yourself a break from these movements of the mind, these endless thoughts. Good. And now from there, we're going to lift the hips up and place the hips just on the block or whatever you've got that you can prop the hips up with. I quite like to take it to the next setting, so lifting up so that I get quite a bit of an opening through the front of the hips. But set this up however you can. You can interlace the hands under here and squeeze the shoulder blades together. We'll breathe deeply here. We want to move into sensation, away from thought. So the thing is that we get very attached to our thoughts, and so we don't want to put them down. And it's quite exhausting for the mind,
But also the mind gets very attached to them and starts to identify with these thoughts. So it doesn't matter how honorable your thoughts are, it doesn't matter how right your thoughts are, they still distract your mind or your consciousness from having a direct experience of self. And it's only once you have let the thoughts become still and the mind become clear that your awareness or your consciousness can turn back on itself, and as the tradition teaches us, you can have an experience of soul, of your own essence nature. So it really is this idea of keep hanging out with yourself until you feel like you again, until you remember who you are. Let's just take 3 more breaths here. Okay, and then release. Okay. So we're going to come up into shoulder stand now. And I'm going to assume that we haven't got blankets to set the pose up how we would usually be doing it in the studio, so with the blankets. So with that, I want you to keep in mind that as we come up into shoulder stand, what we don't want to do is flatten the back of the neck against the ground. So hopefully you guys are practicing on carpet and not hard wooden floors, so that takes the edge off just a little bit. But if you imagine that I'm laying on my back, similar to just how we were then, when I'm laying on my back in shoulder stand, I don't want to flatten the back of my neck and bring my chin in. I actually want to lift the chin away from the sternum so that I preserve this natural curve in the back of my neck and create a little bit of tone. I press the back of my head into the floor, and as I'm pressing in, pull it back so that there's a little bit of tone here, and I'm not flattening. I want to flatten the curve. In this sense, we don't want to flatten the curve. You might be up just then. So some of you are going to be doing it against a wall if you have one. If not, I'd like you to just work with, if you know that you need a wall, but you haven't got one, I want you to just work with opening up the shoulders like this, okay? If you have something that you can come into a Virasana position, so straddle a bolster, sit back on the knees, and interlace the hands behind you. This is going to be a nice kind of working into the shoulders that is going to help you get up into a full shoulder stand in time. Now, if you are working with the wall, you're going to, I'm just figuring out which one to demonstrate first. So let's go to the wall. So if you go into the wall, you'll bring your hips up close to the wall, swing the legs around, and now the legs are here. And you can just work with the legs up the wall, or just, you don't even need to be against a wall. You could put a blanket or a bolster underneath the hips and hang out here. And if you're menstruating at the moment, then this is a nice place to be. You don't have to come up into the full shoulder stand. From there, bend your knees and lift the hips up. So we lift them up away from the wall, and then you can interlace the uncomfortable clip here. Interlace the hands underneath your back, and now you're opening through the shoulders. Or you can bring the hands to the lower back, and you can either work here, or you might be bringing one leg off and then the other leg off. We're not going to lift the hips right up, but rather stay in a more hug
shoulder stand position. So if you're against the wall and you're working there, then keep going. If you are not using the wall, if you don't need to use the wall, then you can simply bring the legs and perhaps you can swing them over, get the hands to the lower back and then just lift up. And being a basics class, I'd recommend that you don't go all the way up. You just stay in this half shoulder stand position. Maybe you can lift up a little higher. So wherever you would like to work, let's hold for about a minute. So up to a minute here. We've got 43 seconds on the timer here, so let's go for that. Slow, deep breaths. So whichever variation you're working with, if you've got your arms interlaced behind you, I know that you probably want to release them, but see if instead you can lift them a little bit further away from you and draw the shoulders back. Really squeeze the back of the heart there. Continue to breathe. Focus on smooth, steady breaths. Even inhale, even exhale. Good. And that's our timer. So if you're in the full shoulder stand, gently, gently, gently roll out. If you're against the wall, lower the hips. You can gently roll over to one side. And release the arms. We're going to take a little back bend here. So you can set up with a rolled up, big rolled up blanket or bolster if you have one. And from there, you can place a block or a rolled up towel. You kind of want a little bit of height here. So perhaps a towel folded in half. Block height's kind of ideal. We're going to lay over the bolster and relax back and just put something underneath the head so you're not crunching into the back of the neck here. And let the top of the shoulders melt down. Slow, deep, even breaths continue here. Notice all the things that you want to identify with. I am this, I am busy, I am stressed, I'm confused, I am tired. And notice that this is just you identifying with external circumstances. Things that are happening outside of you, that your consciousness, your sense of awareness and experience is intertwined with these. And see if you can begin the process of unraveling that sense of being enmeshed in the experience by focusing the mind rather on these thoughts of what is happening externally, rather bring it to focus on the breath and sensation in your body. So you're still laying back over your bolster. Even if you can hear the people outside, just use that as a further test to your resolve to stay focused on your breath. I'm going to stay for a little bit longer here. Just one more minute. Pay attention to the points that are in between each thought. The spaces in between each breath. And the more you focus on those spaces in between, the more they open up, and the more you begin to get an experience of yourself as you are, free of constructs and judgments, labels, roles. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then I'll get you to roll over to one side, gently press yourself up. And we'll lay our bolster out in front of us, or your roll up blanket. So like a roll up doona or several pillows would work. And if you've got another blanket or towel that you can roll up and place underneath the hips here, just over the ankles, that's a nice addition. Ideally, this is high enough so that as you come to lay down, your back is flat. So even there, my head's a little below my hips. So this would ideally be a little bit higher. So I want to have my back nice and flat and be able to lay like this. So you can get quite a bit of height here, particularly if your hips are tight and you're not able to sit back so much. So rest, set yourself up and rest. You can turn your head to one side. If you're able to roll something back and place your forehead on something that the nose is clear to breathe, that's a beautiful addition to this posture. Otherwise, head to one side, and every minute or so you could just gently turn your head to look to the opposite side. Let yourself get heavier and heavier. I think for many of us there is a polarity at this time in which we feel the call to be quiet and to sit more silently with ourselves in stillness. But that residue of feeling like we need to be doing something, of being productive is there, or we have children and jobs and responsibilities that perhaps don't allow that space for us to answer that call. This is that time. So if you feel like staying for 3 minutes in a posture that feels incredibly relaxing is a waste of your time, and then I'm tempted to make it 6 minutes for you. I'd let myself go probably 5 weeks without a restorative practice. And time just got away. And then my partner and I did one the other night. I was like, oh, right, this is why. And there was a resistance at first. So be with that resistance and then Sit. Continue to sit. Continue to breathe. Continue to look for that space. Okay. Now, from there, I'm going to get you to come into take a wide leg Uttanasana first. So you might like to sit on a towel or a folded blanket just to prop the hips up, particularly if you find that you kind of round through the lower back and unable to sit up straight. So sitting on a blanket like this, trifold or just double fold, and placing it underneath the sit bones to change the tilt of the pelvis is a nice addition. And to get a little wider, you can kind of lift the hips up and extend out through the feet. Draw the shoulders back. And we're simply sitting upright here. You can close your eyes. I'm going to have the hands far enough back that you can gently squeeze the shoulder blades and lift up through the crown of your head. As long as you are absorbed in breath, you are giving yourself a break from all of these other external influences that we tend to get over-identified with throughout our days. Whether that's our role as mother, partner, friend, sister, brother. Notice how if I leave you for longer periods without talking, does that let you go deeper, or does the mind chime up? Oh, good. She's not talking anymore. I can get back to writing my shopping list or whatever it is. And you have to have the discipline to rein yourself in. Bring your hands underneath the knees, bring your legs in. You can stay sitting on the towel or the blanket. You're going to bring the legs out in front and just place something so that you can fold over. So I like a bolster lengthways and then a blanket roll up. I also like if you're a little bit more flexible and you're going to have to work with whatever you've got here. So get creative to make sure you've got enough. Otherwise, I quite like bringing the bolster or blanket folded across this way and Just arms out in front. Ideally, the forehead is supported. So that's one of the differences with yin and restorative. In our restorative postures, we have support under anything that is kind of that we're releasing. So if we're folding forward, we're not just hanging, that we've got everything is resting on something. If we're laying back, we're not just hanging out there, everything is supported. So we can completely let go and know that something has got us. So there's different reasons why we would do both different practices, but there's one of the big differences in our restorative. So ideally, you will have something underneath the forehead, underneath the arms, and the belly even can be resting on something. Continue to breathe. Enjoy the breath, have the intention to savor your breath. Who are you when you are free of all the distractions of your external world? That is what I'm asking you to feel into. Gently release. Now make your way down into Shavasana. Lay down on your back. Perhaps put a bolster underneath your knees. Rest your palms face up. You might like a blanket over you, perhaps something over your eyes. Settle in, allow yourself to get heavy. Let yourself be held by the surface that you are laying on. Look out for the space in between each thought, space in between each breath. Dive into that space.
Please begin to breathe a little more deeply. And bring some gentle movement back to your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms and your legs. And as you're ready, roll to one side. Take a deep breath. No rush. And then press yourself up to a seated position and sit up nice and tall. And bring our hands together to the heart center. And we'll share one Om to finish. Deep breath in. Namaste. Thank you very much. Thanks for practicing, everybody.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks, Nat.
I'll see you on Wednesday.
I'll see you then. Have a beautiful night.
Yeah.